Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about fluency and my action research plan to increase fluency with the use of poetry. Why is fluency so important to me? Reading fluency is the ability to read accurately, smoothly, and with expression. Fluent readers read adequately without struggling over decoding issues. Fluency is important because it bridges between word recognition and comprehension. I want my students to have this fluency. Noticing that my first graders' fluency scores were not where I wanted them to be, I did some research and found many teachers were having success increasing fluency with the use of repeated poetry reading in their classrooms. All of this research had me thinking, how does the use of repeated poetry increase fluency? While doing my research, I came across a teacher who explained the relationship between poetry and fluency beautifully. She says that poetry has a pace and melody which supports fluency skills. Fluency connects comprehension, decoding, and word learning. Poetry combines automaticity, accuracy, and prosody to improve intonation, phrasing, pacing, and word recognition. Using poetry to build fluency is not only enjoyable for struggling readers, but readers of all levels can enjoy the pleasure it brings. Hancock's article was not the only research that I found that supported this idea. Many other resources were found that supported the idea that poetry increases fluency. The following slide will tell you more about them. Hancock's article is not the only one that supported this idea that poetry increased reading fluency. On the screen here are some of the resources I found. They are definitely not all of them, but ones that had the most significant data to support this theory. In the top corner, Brewster's study, she worked with a small group for 9 months, working on repeated poetry reading with a group of boys that were low readers, and she noted that she saw significantly increased scores in fluency. Brzezinski has done a lot of research on this topic, and he believes that that poetry will build confidence, word recognition, fluency, writing, comprehension, and phonemic awareness when it's used in the classroom, and he believes it will benefit all ages and all grades. He also did another study for 12 weeks on a group of children who took poetry home and shared poetry at home with their family for 10 minutes a night. After that time period, those students who did that, compared to the students who did nothing, increased their fluency scores by 50%. In the top corner, Gill used the 6 steps of shared reading of poetry approach to improve her students' fluency rates, and I loosely based my theory off of hers as well. And then in the bottom corner, there was a study done that after 6 weeks of repeated poetry reading, the correct words per minute increased by 37.3, and there was a huge gain seen in that. After I did all the research, it led me to the development of my research question. If repeated poetry reading is practiced daily for 8 weeks, how will it affect reading fluency in first graders? Those that will participate in this action research study are 1 certified school teacher myself, 23 regular education first graders, 1 special education student, and 1 Title I specialist. The procedures for my action plan will be done in these 3 categories: whole group, partner practice, and small group with the teacher. The first method of action is going to be my whole group instruction. On the first day of the week, the students will receive a new poem. We'll spend 5 to 10 minutes of daily instruction with this new poem. I will first read it expressively to the students. We will read it together, trying to use that same expressiveness, and then I will let them try to read it as a class together on their own without me. And then afterwards, we'll discuss the meaning of the poem. The second method of action is the partner poetry practice. This will happen for 10 minutes during the week, 2 times a week during our center time. They will get a chance to sit with their partner. First, they'll pull out their poem and read it to themselves to get refamiliarized with it. Then they'll read it together with their partner chorally. Then next, the partners will perform their poem expressively for each other. And then each student will pull out their rating checklist to rate themselves on how well they performed. The third method of action in class will be reading groups with the teacher. This will happen in small groups of 4 to 5 children. We'll meet 4 days a week, and just for 5 to 10 minutes during that time, we will do reading skills. We'll practice and locate rhyming words. We'll locate and practice sight words. We will talk about and find parts of speech within those poems, and then other things like synonyms, antonyms, etc. During these 8 weeks, while we are practicing these methods in class, I will also be collecting data to support the evidence. So the first source of data that I'm going to collect is a DIBELS score. A test will be given at the beginning of the 8 weeks and also at the end of the 8 weeks, and I'll be able to compare those 2 scores to see if they improved. The next source of data that I will be using will be bi-monthly fluency tests from the running records that I give them in class normally. These will be on-level readers, and I will take a fluency score from those sources. The last one will be a weekly poetry fluency assessment. They will recite a poem to me. I have a rubric of things that they need to pass off, like expressiveness, tone, pacing, etc. And I'll rate them on that, and I'll also take a fluency score for that as well. Even within this small action research study, there's still quite a bit of stakeholders involved in this process. There's the teacher who will create the action plan, collect the materials, carry out all the steps, analyze data, keep records, and report their findings. Then there's our students who will participate and do their best in all the activities the teacher assigns that pertains to the action plan. There's also a certified DIBELS instructor who will administer the DIBELS test before and after the study. The principal is also involved. He gives permission to conduct the research within the school and allows the teacher to contact parents to get permission for those students to participate. The parents of the first grade teachers also have the choice to give the students permission or not to participate in this research plan. And administration is aware of the research practice being conducted and waits to hear if the results turn out positively and if it can be used later on. This timetable is just a loose estimate of how long I feel it may take me to complete these parts. About 2 months before, I want to be researching, developing my project, getting permissions from the principal or district to proceed, and to get permission to send permission slips to students. About a month before, I'm going to start gathering my poetry, making my poetry folders, making assessment folders and checklists, and sending permission slips home to parents. On day 1, I want that a Title I teacher to give that initial DIBELS fluency test, and then right away we're going to start with our first poem and continue following all those methods that were discussed earlier, along with data collection. At the end of the 8 weeks, I will take the DIBELS fluency scores again from the Title I teacher, and then start to complete the data analysis process. I'm not sure exactly how long this will take me, but I will be able to research and analyze my data, compile all the findings, and make a report to project to the stakeholders. My expected outcomes are, I would like to see an increase in DIBELS fluency scores within that 8 weeks. I expect more correct words per minute on the fluency portion of the running records than they had at the beginning. I want to see a growth in that. I also want to see an improved fluency score on the weekly poetry assessments. I have also included the expected benefits for all the stakeholders involved. For the teachers, the students will improve their fluency skills, helping them become better readers and hopefully better comprehenders too. For the students, they improve their fluency skills and build that foundation that they need to continue on to be great readers. For the Title I instructor, if we're building students with better fluency, she has less students that need reading intervention. For the parents, they are happy with a child that is improving their fluency, that's building that strong foundation to be a good reader. For the principal, he has a teacher that's found a new method to increase fluency skills and that's willing to share ideas with colleagues so that they can improve all students' fluency through the whole school. For administration, they want to see those fluency scores improve too. They want to have good readers throughout the district. They have a teacher willing to share the message with everyone through the district and build higher fluency so that they will do better on state testing later on. I truly believe that this action research plan will provide positive results in my students' reading. I believe that using daily repeated poetry reading will help increase their fluency and help build them that strong foundation that they need to become great readers. Thank you for listening and appreciate your time.